Oh, where's my name sign?
Oh no, we're on the air. Hey everybody, we're just taking over because that's what we do. Barracuda just won a huge game over the Grand Rapids Griffins. So I'm hoping you're watching because that would be awesome. And if you're not watching, well, shame on you because, you know, you should always come here for Barracuda After Dark.
Especially when it's so well planned like Ian and I usually do.
Right, yeah. We just decided we were just going to do this because, you know, whatever. It's the All-Star break. Anyone care about the All-Star break? I don't. But there was a Barracuda game, and now...
I don't care.
Yeah, and now you have to listen to us talk about it. I mean, you don't have to, but it'd be rude if you didn't. So shut up, sit down, and listen. Zach is joining me today. Zach, what did you think of the game? Just quick thoughts off the top of your head.
There are all of a sudden two very large individuals skating for the San Jose Barracuda that do not fit the usual physical profile of this squad. And Zach Sortini, I'm going to mess that up till I figure it out, and Buddy Robinson both just inject a huge amount of hugeness. We're going to invent a word right there. Yeah, add that to the Zactionary. And really was impressive to see.
Co-host. Yeah, I thought it was a really good game because this is a team, like, for those that don't follow the AHL, I mean, this is the best team in the Central Division, which is actually, I think, kind of like the Pacific Division, pretty good. You got, you know, a bunch of teams in there that have some pretty decent win percentages. This team is before this game, I guess it would be 27-12, 1-2 now for their record, which, I mean, that's a good team. And when you have like no familiarity, it's nice to come in and see the Barracuda play a game where they don't, I mean, we've seen the Ontario Reign 1,400 times, and we'll see them 1,500 more before the season's out. It's really nice to see the Barracuda get these rare opportunities to come out and play a team where we don't know what the other team, they don't have that familiarity. So you kind of really get to see how good they really are. And I thought tonight showed that this is a good team in the Barracuda.
The announcers for Grand Rapids mentioned a couple times the speed and the talent of the Barracuda, and so it's nice that kind of reputation for the Cuda is kind of getting around, and I think we definitely saw it. I know that the shot totals were absurd. Troy Grosnick realistically probably had closer to 50 shots on him, but I didn't think too many of them until the late stages were all that great. But the Barracuda just buried the chances in front of them, and so that skill with the puck really was evident.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought that Grosnick had to make he made that one really, really sick save at the end there where he was kind of already down, and he just kind of pushed the puck away with his blocker and catcher at the same time. I thought it was great. Everyone say hi to Caleb.
Hey, Caleb.
When we're doing shows early, Caleb's gonna be around. Caleb, what did you think of the game? What'd you think? Was it good? Bad? No? All right, that's fair. Oh man, yeah. I thought. No, I was really impressed tonight. Obviously, it was nice to see kind of the Barracuda back at full strength with the usual teams dumping all their eligible guys back to the AHL for the All-Star break. So obviously we got to see obviously Heed, who had played the last game, but Timo Meier was in the lineup tonight, which was, I thought he played good. Okay. What did you think of Timo Meier's game back in the AHL?
I thought it was all right, and this is kind of one of those cases. He's a 20-year-old, after getting sent back after a stint up at the NHL. So hopefully he's going to approach it with the right mindset. But I thought his game was all right. I was a little disappointed not to see LeBeg. That would have been really exciting to reunite that big line for a game or two. But Goudreau had that shorthanded breakaway goal to start the game. So he comes down and impacts the roster. One thing, and I know I'm getting long here, I thought it was interesting that with all of these players coming back to the Barracuda or being acquired via the trade, Roy Sommer only went with 6 defensemen tonight. He had been going with 7D pretty consistently, probably at least I'd say 3 out of 4 games most of this season. Dan Kelly was the defenseman that sat here, and so Jacob Middleton, who I think has been really quickly acclimating to the AHL, was partnered with McNally. That's just something to watch. The Barracuda now have some size and some skill to where that lineup or that roster change now, it's a legitimate question.
Sorry about that. Craziness. It's early, so normally when I do this, everyone's in bed. Yeah, I like that you brought up the Gaudreau goal, because we were talking about this before he went on the air. Like, how did he even get to where he was? Like, how does this even happen? How was he on side? Can you teleport and still be on side? I don't know.
Evidently, at least in Grand Rapids, you can. I mean, they showed that, and they kept coming back to it, and I'm like, he didn't even really have to skate for that puck. He's like, it's just me and Cal Heater, so let's throw a move here.
Yeah.
There was no defenseman to shake. There was no, stick check to fight through. It was, I mean, it looked like a shootout, right?
Yeah.
With just like, there's a ref, there's a goalie, and there's a guy with a puck. Let's see what happens.
Goldobin, I thought, had a really good game too. I mean, obviously 2 goals on the night, but I just like, it's funny because like there's some nights where Goldobin, I'm just like, call this dude up already, and then some nights I'm a little more not so call him up. But I just wish that Goldobin, man, if he could just be consistent all the time, and then because I think Goldobin should get a look with the big club.
And I've got a long and we'll call it sordid history with Goldobin. I think that's fair. But I have to say the last probably going on 15 games here, it's really clicking for him. And with the Sharks constantly trying to figure out what the heck is going on anywhere on the left side of their forward lines, I'm with you. I think with what we saw today with Goldobin is what he's been providing with consistency, actual consistency, not even just consistency for his level. But with what he did tonight, there was a play where there was a Grand Rapids forward in the corner with the puck. Goldobin went in there with a solid check, wasn't thunderous, but he separated the player from the puck, took the puck, got it back to the blue line, and the play continued. That's the kind of attention to detail and professionalism that at the NHL level you have to be able to replicate. But it's good that he's showing that, because Goldobin of last year would have skated this big, beautiful arching circle like he was going to, pirouette past and into the neutral zone.
Going to the triple Lutz.
Right. Now we're seeing more of a north-south game, and that's what he's going to have to do, especially because it's not natural to him.
Right. Yeah, I've been impressed. I wish that he'd at least get a look. Now, LeBanc not playing kind of surprised me, but kind of not, because they've got 2 other guys. You got Sortini and Robinson. You're trying to kind of get to flesh into the lineup, who are obviously going to be there for the long haul.
Right.
But it kind of. I mean, look, I just think LeBanc looks tired lately. Like I don't want to say it because I don't know for sure, but I really wonder about that rookie wall with him.
Yeah. That's a tough one, because he played in the OHL last year, and so he's used to playing a pretty steady diet of games. Obviously it's at a whole nother level here, but it's not like he's coming from the NCAA.
No.
They've had long playoff runs out there, with Barry, so he's used to realistically around an 80 game season, not this compressed of a schedule, obviously.
Right. That's what I was going to say. I mean, this schedule though in the NHL, I mean, especially this season has just been more, it's even the season's more compressed just even for the NHL guys. So, to come from junior where you play like, a couple of games on the weekend, and then, maybe the occasional Wednesday game, and then come up to where you're playing every other night it seems like, with back-to-backs and everything else. I mean, I don't think he's been bad. I just think he looks worn out.
Yeah, honestly, I think over the last 3 games that we've seen of the Sharks, the whole team's looked worn out.
Sure.
So maybe some time for LeBanc to come down, get a breather. Maybe that's why he didn't skate. He's been up with the big club for the majority of the season. So maybe this is just to get the salary cap number a little bit lower, give Doug Wilson a little bit more breathing room for a possible move,
Sure.
and give Kevin LeBanc kind of a little bit of R&R out there as the kids go through kind of I think their furthest east road trip of the AHL season.
Further, I mean, I don't think they play outside of their conference at all. But yeah, no, I mean, it's going to be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how they. I'm curious to see how they hold up tomorrow against the Admirals, because anytime I've traveled, I've never had a problem going west. It's always coming back east. That's really screwed with my internal clock. In my limited travels. Now, I don't travel like an NHLer, obviously, or anything like that. But so it'll be interesting to see how they look tomorrow, because I think that'll be a good test for them. Not only are the Admirals a good team, but they're gonna, I think they're gonna be fighting that jet lag. They're not obviously jet lags. They probably bust out there. Let's be honest. But man, that's a tough time zone change, I find, coming east. How do you find it? I know you travel a lot.
I don't sleep a whole heck of a lot, so for me, jet lag is just a nap away. So I'm not exactly, the best test here. But one good thing for the Barracuda is the Admirals are playing the Stockton Heat right now.
Right.
So both teams are becoming off of games the night before. Stockton's a very good squad. I know San Jose has really done a number. It's 4 straight wins against Stockton, if I recall correctly. But they're a good squad. They're a good team. They've got some veteran players there, so that's not going to be an easy night, I don't think, for the Admirals.
Heavy team too.
Yeah.
That team likes to come out and beat the crap out of you. They might not always win the game, but you will be sore after a game with the Stockton Heat.
Yeah, you'll know you were in a hockey contest for sure.
So yeah, no, that's an excellent point. So I'm curious to see how this game tomorrow goes. The game goes at 4 Pacific, 7 Eastern, for those wondering. And then they go to Manitoba and play the Moose. What do you think? What do you expect from that game?
I think the Admirals are going to be a tough go of it. They've been a good squad. UC Saros has been called up and playing exquisitely well for the Predators. Not as good as Aaron Dell on 5v5 save percentage. I'm just saying. But that's been a big loss for them, for the Admirals. So I think the Barracuda really have a good shot of running the table here. Yeah. The Moose have called up just about everybody. The kids are up with Winnipeg outside of Kyle Connor. I think that's the one name that really stands up that's still with the Moose. I think this could be a really successful road trip for them, especially getting some reinforcements with Zach Satterini and Buddy Robinson. I think that might, I talked a little bit about this on Twitter. This might be a trade that Doug Wilson almost had to make looking down at the Barracuda. He's seeing the youth. He's seeing the ability. He's seeing that if this team can make a solid run into the postseason, that's a learning opportunity. Yep. There's a lot of kids on this squad, as we've seen this year, that are very, very close, if not very plausible call-up options.
Absolutely.
O'Regan, Goldobin we're talking about. Meyer and LeBanc have been up. Carpenter didn't come back.
Right.
John McCarthy, he's obviously a much older player, but he's plausible there. Tim Heed is possible. Grosnick now has 6 shutouts to lead the AHL. These are all players that are getting exposure, that are helping their development. And so Doug Wilson moves Tommy Wingles for 2 AHLers to help these young guys, saying, hey, you need some size, maybe a little more veteran presence. We know Roy Sommer loves some older players. So it sucks to see an NHLer go for two AHLers for a lot of fans, but
yeah,
kind of makes sense when you really break it down.
Oh yeah, I mean, obviously you want to bring guys up. I think that Carpenter, you're right, didn't get sent back down, which I was surprised by that. LeBanc got sent down and Carpenter's still up, which means, really makes me wonder if maybe Carpenter's won a spot for the rest of the year. It might not be a permanent spot. He might rotate in and out of the lineup, but it looks to me like Carpenter has been shown a lot of faith by the big club. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. And then, and you had to get rid of that cap space too. So getting two guys that are making nothing in the AHL, at least they're making money, but they're not hurting the cap situation at all. So, I mean, it's for what it is. I mean, it's a good move. I know a lot of people are upset that, you basically gave away Nieto and Wingles for nothing at this point, but it is what it is. It's business, man.
It's the business aspect, but I would say that whatever those two were going to add, we knew what they were going to add. Ryan Carpenter, I think, has looked more than capable in a fourth line center role. I think we've all been pleasantly surprised with LeBanc. Meyer is a work in progress.
He's
but
been very hit or miss for me.
Right, exactly. And I totally agree with that assessment. But somebody that is a threat to come up, O'Regan, they had to do something. They did something to free up the cap space to bring Hurdle back. But really, I think the Barracuda now are really well positioned going into kind of the I don't know if we're quite at the stretch of the AHL season, but they're about just over halfway for them actually.
Mm-hmm. It's so hard. It's so funny because we went earlier on in the season, the Barracuda season's been weird because they started the season where they just didn't play while everyone else was playing. They played 4 games while everyone else was, putting up 5 or 6 games to start the year. So it's been kind of weird how it just all of a sudden it was just bang, Barracuda games out of nowhere like that. But all right, so I know I know you have to bug out soon. So what are your final thoughts for any final thoughts for this game?
I really I'm happy that the San Jose Barracuda, as I look at the standings, they don't have the least amount of games played in the entire AHL for the first time this season. So that's my thought. The Barracuda are finally getting towards their game totals where it's getting there. Anyway, I thought it was a solid effort. Grosnick was good. Defense could tighten up, but I was pleased with what they did give up until kind of the score effects started taking over.
Right.
Most of those shots were from the outside. They were not threats. Even the one goal they did get, Grosnick, I'm sure, would have been the first one to tell you, hey, I should have had that. Really, really good game, and it was good to see them stack up against a first-place team, as you mentioned earlier. Just kind of have them roll into Grand Rapids and really put a good thumping on a good Grand Rapids team. That I think that really helps us get a better frame of reference for this very young Barracuda squad.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I was really happy with the game. I wish that the video quality was a little bit better. But all in all, I mean, it was a fun game to watch, and I'm glad I tuned in. I wish I could have made the trip because it's not Grand Rapids is about, I don't know, in this weather, probably about 5 hours away, but just couldn't be a thing. Just so you guys know, obviously it's me and Zach tonight. You can also watch me and Zach every Sunday on the Pucknology Writers Room channel, where there's a couple questions in the chat that I grabbed that we'll definitely talk about on Sunday. Normally on this channel is the Pucknology After Dark channel. Obviously, I just decided to be a jerk and take over little pirate radio tonight. But obviously, post games on here, every game, San Jose games, obviously. I don't know, maybe we'll do this every once in a while, Zach. I think this was fun.
Yeah, it was great to jump on, especially after a big win for the kids. And we'll hopefully see everyone on Sunday for Writers Room.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Go in the chat, go in the search bar, hit Pucknology Writers Room. You'll find our channel. Subscribe. We'll be there. Thanks for watching, and have a good night. Go Barracuda.